Noswithdar, or if you're not fluent in Welsh, good evening everyone and welcome to TTML. We are here for round 7 of the championship. It is season 2, of course, and we're taking the Belgian Grand Prix from the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, one of the most legendary tracks on the F1 calendar, and indeed the longest track on the F1 calendar as well. My name is James Hay, going to be taking you through the stream. We do actually have a live stream for you here tonight, as per not happening in Division 1. And joining me in the commentary box, who I'm sure is going to be very impressed with my Welsh fluent hello there from everyone, is Mr. Mike Edwards. Mike, how are you doing?
I am taken aback by how good that Welsh was, lad. I'm actually shocked right now.
All I've heard
yeah,
it from...
I'm doing great.
You're doing great, fantastic. What I was going to say is... I've learnt it from I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Yeah, that's why people are probably going to come at me now in the comment section. Watching too much of I'm a Celeb, I know how to speak Welsh, or say at least one phrase in Welsh. But, anyways, you want this in English. That's what you want. And looking at what happened last week, we had, of course, the British Grand Prix. Zwadema took the win, Tiona second, and Scuderia Seb in third. Just how important was Zwadema's win last week in Britain?
It really was what could be a turning point for his season, to take him from just being just a little bit behind the front pack, which could now really just launch him into that front pack to maybe put himself in the championship picture come the end of the season. This could be the turning point for him moving forward.
Yeah, looking at the standings, obviously we would have Tom doing the graphics. We're just going to read them out for you here tonight. Tom still hasn't fixed his OBS. There's been a graphics problem, sadly, so we hope to have you graphics back by next Tuesday for Division 1. Tom apologises in advance, I'm sure. Mashiro leads the championship, so Adema's win in Britain really draws him, puts the cat amongst the pigeons, really. He's in second on 118 points, Mashiro on 127 leading the way. Seb is in third on 102, with Gary in fourth on 95. Now, you informed me before we came live that Gary's got a 15-second time penalty from last week.
Yes, I've seen this on Twitter, and if... I believe it is true, otherwise he wouldn't have put it on Twitter, but that's going to make things incredibly difficult for Gary this race. And honestly, 15 seconds around this circuit is massive.
It's just under a pit stop. I think a pit stop around here is like 18 seconds, so you're only going to be coming out 3 seconds ahead of that pit stop window. So Gary, unfortunately, in that position. He is in fourth in the championship, and wherever he finishes, of course, 15 seconds will be added on to his time. Jekyll in fifth on 90 points, with AJ in sixth on 80. Tionas in seventh on 78. Matt Tibos in eighth on 76. Volakongan in ninth on 70. And Sway in 10th on 61. Alonso then, looking at the rest of the standings. Alonso in 11th on 58, really picking up the consistency last week. Callboy in 12th on 53, with Ryan in 13th on 43. James not making it tonight due to work commitments. He's in 14th on 34. Trippy Jeff and Adamako are tied for 15th on 25. Nathan, who's not racing tonight due to work commitments, and Powdy are tied in 17th for 20 points. F1AMG in 19th on 11, and Cam in 20th on 9 points. Looking at the constructors' standings, though, McLaren and Alfa Romeo tied for the lead in the constructors' standings. 203 points each. Their nearest rivals and pursuers are Mercedes on 181. That's what, a 22-point gap between Mercedes and McLaren and Alfa Romeo?
Yep, 22 points, and it is incredibly tight in the constructors. Of course, last time out, Mashiro had a bit of a shaky race at Silverstone. It was definitely one for people to take advantage of, but I believe at the end he did manage to get himself back into a decent position. But also we can't forget about the collision that was between Gary and I believe Cam last week as Gary was about to go into the pits, and I think that may be what the penalty was for. But obviously that's going to shake up a few things. Gary losing a lot of points there, as does Cam, and we got people capitalising on it, like Seb, Zwadema, J. Cole, AJ, getting themselves right up there now, right on some getting ahead of Gary and some right on his tail. So that's going to make things very tricky for Gary tonight.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of drivers, I think, in with a chance, especially around a track like Belgium. We're going to ride you on board, of course, with a lap of the track. No Tom to take you through the pre-qualified and hot lap or anything like that, so we're going to do it, of course, as we go in towards qualifying. Just to fill out the rest of the constructor standings as well, while we're at it, Renault in 4th on 138, Red Bull in 5th on 114, Williams 6th on 98, Haas in 7th on 95, Racing Point in 8th on 83, AlphaTauri in 9th on 54 and Ferrari in 10th on 28 points. We are about to get going here tonight on a Thursday night as per usual. TTML Division 2 is about to get underway as we take in, of course, this legendary track. 7 kilometres in length is the track distance here tonight at Belgium, and it is the longest track on the F1 calendar. Second longest track, of course, on the F1 calendar. It's, I believe, Baku, if I'm not mistaken, that very long section, the old and the new. But we're here tonight in Spa, and we're about to get underway for qualifying. Everyone now just loading into the lobby, and hopefully we're not going to have any issues about drivers rejoining, leaving the session, rejoining again, and causes all sorts of mayhem in terms of the start from the formation lap on to the race start. But we're going to see these guys fly around in excess of 200 mile an hour down towards Les Combes, and I'm going to try and quiz, well, I'm not going to quiz myself, I'm not going to quiz you guys in the comment section, I'm going to quiz myself. Can I remember what corner matches up to what number of the thingy? Yeah, you know what I mean, don't you? I think.
There's a few corners I know the names of. The comms I forget which one that is, whether it's 6, 5 or 7.
Well, we've got, if we're looking at the track map on the right hand side, it's like a dinosaur shaped track, I think, here at Belgium. That's the best way I could describe anybody new to Formula 1. We've got La Source running down in towards turn 1, then we've got a Rouge Radion turns 2 and 3, then the Kemmel Straight through turn 4, and then running down towards Le Combes at turn 6, I believe. That little chicane is the Le Combes section. Running down towards Bruxelles, which is the little 180-degree hairpin, then through X corner, then through Pouon, then through Campos, then through Stavelot, then through Blanchimont, then through the bus stop chicane, and there you go, you have it. That's the Belgian track right there. And we've got the first cars leaving out on track, and it is Volokongen, as per usual, who's first out on track.
Yep, Volokongen making a very, a bit of a habit of being the first one out on track every single week. And it's great to see that he's not wasting any time. He wants to be the first out on track, first to get his eyes in. And now we're just going to see how competitive these lap times are going to be. I'm expecting the pole position to be within the region of a high 40, low 41. Thereabouts.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's possible. I think a pole position for Division 1 was a 40.8, if I'm not mistaken. That was from Perpetuum in that was from Amazing Hour, I should say, in qualifying in Division 1. Perpetuum was just then behind him on the grid, I believe, down in 4th or 5th. So, be interesting to see how these guys get on. And if that's the case, we should be expecting, I think, lap times toward the high 141. So around a 141.1, 141.2, low 141s, I should say, not a high 41. But we should see around those sorts of lap times, I think, out on track. Volokongen coming around out on track, currently in the standings, coming into tonight. He is in the top 10, he's in 9th position on 70 points. What's he got to do to try and put a good lap in here?
I think traction out of the crucial corners is going to be absolutely crucial for him, especially the launch out of the bus stop chicane to start his lap. It's very easy to just scrub off a little bit of time by just not getting that traction down as smooth as you like. And then, of course, we got La Source, a bit of a off-cambered corner, very easy to drift out wide there and lose the traction. And I've done it many times where I've lost the traction and gone into the wall on the right. But he seems to have had it under control so far as we go up through Radion now, down the Kemmel Straight.
Yeah, down the Kemmel Straight opens up that first DRS zone, of course, out on track. The other DRS zone being down the start-finish straight. So there's only 2 DRS zones here out on track. 29.8, there or thereabouts in terms of the lap times from Division 1 through the first sectors. He now comes through Les Combes and on the run down towards Bruxelles at turn number 8. 18 turns, of course, await these drivers out on track. And now through Brussels comes Volokongan, looking very nice. Doesn't run out too wide, and especially doesn't run wide here because he will pick up an invalidation. Coming now through X corner, down towards Puon. And this is the most infamous corner out on the track. Schumacher Coulthard 1998. And Volokongan has spun it, and he's kept it. Nearly did a Giovinazzi of 2019. Nearly going into the wall there, but Volokongan recovers the car. But that is his qualifying lap. Certainly over and done with for now. We'll ride back on board with Ryan, who was behind him, but Ryan has invalidated out on track. And I'm just trying to see who the next one is.
Is XL Gary, and just a small correction, there's 19 corners at this track, no 18.
19? I stand corrected. Gary is on a lap then. He's coming through Blanchimont now, this left-hander, of course, through turn 17. And Gary now coming through the final couple of corners out on track. On towards the bus stop chicane, brakes very hard on the brakes. He's got very low fuel, but he should be trying to set a 141 here. Very nice through the bus stop chicane. That's as nice as you could take it. Gary across the line. 41.3 to start off the evening. That is not a bad lap at all. Zwadema, a winner last time out in Britain, goes in behind him, 2 tenths behind him. Volokongan with that spin. Still a valid lap, a 156.1. Trying to ride on board with anybody that's coming through. Tionis, who finished second last time out, is invalid coming through the bus stop. Let's see what lap time it would have been though from Tionis across the line. He would have went third with that, a 141.6. But currently, Gary holds all the cards 5 minutes into qualifying. Oh, yep, saying that, Machine's gone quicker.
Just takes it away yet. Yes, now just on board with Scuderia Seb. He was purple in Sector 2, so this could be there or thereabouts as he comes to the line now. It's going to be a 41.3, so he would have been enough to beat Gary, but Mashiro there taking near enough 2 tenths off of Gary's time there.
Yeah, 2 tenths of a second, 141.1, already in the realms. That was second place, I think. Last time, in qualifying, I should say, in Division 1. So Mashiva was already at Division 1 pace. Watching Alonso through the first sector, 30.2, and he's invalid coming out of Lacombe as well. So that's a shame for Alonso, and his rotten luck here in qualifying continues on. Adamako, I think, came across the line there to go 5th. Just trying to ride on board with who's coming next across the line. I think Ryan is once again on an out lap. Don't think there's anybody of note that's actually on a lap.
Matt Tibos, he's just invalidated, but we've got Sway in behind who's also on a lap.
Yeah, Sway running down towards Bruxelles. Runs out wide coming through turn 8 and then has to dip into the apex very nicely indeed through there. Nice car control. As now Sway comes through X corner and on the run down towards Puon. Again, I would say this without him spinning, hopefully. A very infamous corner out on track, and that's how you take Puon. Volokongan. Sway now coming towards the Campos section out on track. Not to be confused with the F2 team, of course. Sway now coming through. Final couple of corners in this middle sector. Runs out wide slightly. I thought that would have been an invalidation, but it's not. He's got Matt Tibos helping him out. A little bit of a shoddy exit coming through Stavolo there. 113.5 through the middle sector. He's going to be there or thereabouts, but I think he might go ahead of Trippy Jeff, to be honest. The best thing for him is, though, Matt Tibos is going to give him a slipstream coming through Blanchimont and then up towards the bus stop chicane. Matt Tibos will get out of the way. Oh my goodness me, that was close to contact. Sway, I don't think, realised at the last second that Matt Tibos was getting out of his way, just ran in the dirty air, across the line he goes, and he goes ahead of Trippy Jeff, exactly where I expected, in 5th place for him out on track, 141.8, 7 tenths off the pace.
Yeah, and that was incredibly close from Sway and Matt Tibos there, almost going straight into the back, the McLaren ahead, and that could have been devastating for both of their qualifying sessions.
Yeah, just running on board with his teammate as well, Sway. Cowboy is just invalidated coming out of X corner. Ran wide, actually cut on the inside of the apex. Very rare to do, but you can pick up an invalidation, and Cowboy has done exactly that out on track. I think Cam is going to be one of the next ones to come across the line onto a lap. We're nearly 8 minutes through qualifying, 10 to go. Mashira leads from 7 in 2nd, Gary 3rd, Spadema 4th, Swain 5th, Trippy Jeff in 6th, Adamako in 7th, and Volokongan in 8th. Really surprised not many drivers have got a lap in so far. I think Ryan has just started up a lap and he's coming through Bruxelles.
Yep, on board with Ryan. It looks it's been a pretty smooth sector 1. A little bit of a snap of oversteer through Le Combs in the start of sector 2. Let's see how Bouillon is for him. And
Beautiful.
it's beautifully done there from Ryan as he comes towards turn 12, keeping it tight to kind of open up turn 13. Use a bit of the runoff there as we come into Stavio, I believe.
Yep, through Stavolo. 113.5 middle sector. He's there or thereabouts.
Yep, and now is all about the run now through Bonchemont. Let's see how that is. It's fantastic. And now the bus stop. Breaking down into second gear, clipping the inside curb there at both of the apexes, and to the line will go Ryan, and it is ahead of Sway on a 41.6.
Yeah, not a bad lap there at all. Cam is coming through the bus stop chicane as well. He's on a lap, and he's very quick normally in qualifying. Cam around the final couple of corners, and now across the line, and he goes 5th, and he goes ahead of Ryan by 700th of a second. Nice lap there by Cam, and he's up into 5th. Needs to score points if he wants to get up into the field. Things where Emma's just about to start a lap, Jake Hall just about to start a lap, Gary is about to start a lap as well. Just trying to see who is next out on track towards the line, and it seems like it's absolutely nobody out on track.
Volakongan.
Yeah, I think
he's at the end of sector 1 right now on his final lap.
Yeah, 29.7 through the first sector, not too bad from the Norwegian as he now comes through the exit of Lacombe and now runs down towards Bruxelles out on track. I will probably pronounce Bruxelles about 10 other times, or 10 different times I think out on track tonight. So if I get it wrong, then you know where I'm coming from. Volakongan, Ryan just getting out of the way to the left hand side of him as he now comes up towards Pouon. Can he manage that this time around? Yes he can. He's through Pouon safely this time.
Yep, staying away from that inside curb at Pouillon, and that's going to be crucial, especially in the race as well. Just need to stay away from that inside curb because it is extremely deadly on this game. If you touch it, you're going for a spin.
He's going to be in around Sway, I think, sort of area for 7th. Looking good through the middle sector, obviously 13 seconds up on his time. As he now comes around the final couple of corners. There's a racing point, I think, round in the middle sector, just coming through the Campos section. But Volakongan on a lap, coming through the bus stop chicane. Let's see what he can do. We've got Matt Tibos on laps as well. Tionis is on a lap, I think, just in behind as well. Volakongan to the line. He goes 6th. He goes ahead of Ryan, in fact. So that's a good lap from Volakongan. We'll see what Tionis is doing.
AMG.
Coming through the final couple of corners, F1MG goes up to 4th. Tionis across the line, shoddy exit, but he goes 9th, 41.8. And we're beginning to see the real lap times be set. Jake Hall has gone 2nd. Really nice lap by Jake Hall. Mashiro still out on top though, yet to set another improvement. Seb is through the middle sector and he's 400th up currently. Yes, Emma improves 41.3 as well. And Gary goes quickest. Gary goes quickest, 41 flat. We're on the brink of the 140s, and Gary ahead of Mashiro. Now, wherever he finishes, he's going to be picking up a 15-second time penalty in the race, not in qualifying, but he's out on top, and he's currently beating the championship leader.
And yeah, and that's going to be massive for Gary. He needs a brilliant qualifying year, and he needs to hope that those behind have a bit of a torrid time so that his 15 seconds is going to be looking less of a painful penalty to have. But right now I'm on board with Scuderia Seb, who is over 2 tenths up in the middle sector, so he's going to be there or thereabouts between Mashiro and Gary if he can knock up this final sector as he breaks now into the bus stop chicane, clips the inside curb, clips the apex.
This is Paul.
The line was Paul?
No, 2nd. I was close. 41 flat. He goes 2nd behind Gary. But it's Gary out on top, Seb 2nd, Mashiro on 3rd. It's pretty much same old, to be honest. Mashiro invalidated on his lap. He's 5,000 down through the middle sector on this invalid lap. So goodness knows what he would have said. He's coming through the final sector now. F1MG just getting out to the left-hand side. We'll run above with this lap. I'm just really interested and curious to see what this would have been, unless he goes into the pit lane, but I think he's committed for this one, and no he's not, he's into the pit lane.
Oh, we got Adam Macro coming to the line now. He's 2 times subs, so that'll put him around the bottom end of the top 10. If he can get a good exit here, to the line will come the racing point.
Ooh.
And just couldn't find enough time.
AJ's on the lap as well, 1:13.5, a little bit off, I should say, the middle sector, out on track for what we've been seeing from Gary, from Seb. AJ now across the line. He goes 7th. It's not a bad lap, actually, 41.5. I thought it would have been down towards the bottom end. Alonso's back into the pit lane after not picking up an invalidation. He's back into the pits with 4 minutes and 30 seconds to go, just over. Cowboy as well as invalid, and he is coming into the pit lane. And this is where we can start to analyse qualifying a little bit. Gary top, Seb second, Mashiro in third. These guys, these top three especially, I think, are going to find it quite hard to try and improve on their laps.
Yeah, as Cowboy actually retires from the session, and I think that may be just because he didn't have a fresh set of softs, perhaps, available to him. But interestingly enough, I'm on board with Matt Tibos, who's out there right now on the set of the medium compound tyres. He hasn't set a time yet, but he's out there on the mediums.
Yes, he is. There he is. He's in 15th position. Sorry, I'm in a world of my own. Matt Tibos. Yeah, he's on a set of medium compound of tyres, so this is going to be interesting. I think he's going for the bottom half of the field start with this. I don't think he'll get another lap in after this one.
Lap times, as we know, is 1 minute 40, so really you want to be out of the pits around the 2 minute mark. And he's not going to have enough time to do this lap. Oh, as he gets a massive back end slide there through the bus stop, and he's going to duck straight into the pits, and I think that may be the smartest call for him.
He must have picked up a this and next lap invalidated, surely, if that car is coming back into the pit lane, because it looked like he slid coming through the bus stop, but he picked up the invalidation coming through there, I think, as well. So that is where that this and next lap invalidated has not worked for him out on track, and sadly, I don't think, well, he is going to get another chance possibly on a lap, but we'll have to see how that goes. Cam is on a lap coming through the first sector, split through the Lacombe. Now he comes 1400s up in the Ferrari. Ferrari really need a really good qualifying and a really good race result as well. We're at the bottom of the standings in the constructors. Cam not looking good so far, but remember, he qualified up in the top half of the field within France, and he's not going to be qualifying certainly on this lap because he's just invalid coming out of X. Oh, and he's wide through Pouon, and he spun the car. He's done a Giovinazzi almost of 2019, and Cam has spun the car coming through Pouon, and that is him retiring out of the session.
His wheel popping off at that slow of a speed.
Wow. That is a Giovinazzi. Apart from the speed difference, that is a Giovinazzi of 2019. Pretty much in the same area. Wow. And he can hope, best he can hope for now is 8th position. Out on track. Volokongan, Ryan, he'd be hoping these guys don't improve.
Yes, and I'm on board with Mashiro right now, who is out on the out lap, but interestingly enough, he has his teammate ahead of him as the Haas teammates of should be Jeff and Volokongan, as do the Mercedes team of AJ and Seb, so we're going to be seeing some team tactics here in qualifying.
This might be to try and improve on their laps, possibly. I'm on board with J. Cole coming through the first sector split. 29.7 there or thereabouts from J. Cole. And he's got to try and find 0.3 of a second to defeat his Excel teammate Gary out on track. Well, as I say Excel teammate, they're both within the same team. They're not teammates though out on track, both in different cars. J. Cole now coming through Bussell, now through X. Looking very nice, very tidy so far on this lap as he now comes towards Pouon. Does not want to ride this curb too much and unsettle the car. And that is lovely coming through Pouon. And now J. Cole really on a good lap as he now approaches the Campos section. Brakes just after 50 metre ball. How late can you brake for that corner? Too late as he catches the curb on the inside, but he could still be up in terms of a valid lap. But judging by his ERS deployment, he's backed out of this one. And rightfully so, he's 8/10 down in the middle sector.
Yep, I'm on board with Gary right now, who's coming through Pouillon, and it looks very clean and tidy so far. He was slightly down through Sector 1, so if he's going to find time, he's going to be here in Sector 2.
Oh, very nice.
Yep, absolutely hooked up at the moment is Gary, and he's a 10th up, and I was so close to an invalidation there. But Gary now, with the run, down towards Longchamp.
just sitting in silence watching this lap, I think. We're just in awe of this lap, and Gary now coming around the final couple of corners through the bus stop chicane. For this is the final time for him out on track. He's going to go into the 140 shooty across the line. 140.9. That might take all the beating out on track. Mashiro is on a lap coming through the middle sector. Seb has just started up on that one. But I think Tionis is about to come towards the start-finish line very shortly. He's coming through Blanchimont now. We've got a Red Bull, I think, of Sway out there. He's invalid.
Yeah,
he's coming into the pit lane. And Tionis now on a lap. F1AMG has crashed coming through Puon, it seems.
Ryan has also invalidated his lap, so next one across the line would be Zwadema after Tijonis.
Tionis goes 5th, and Zwadema's a 10th up. Zwadema now trying to lay it all on the line, out on track as he now comes through the bus stop chicane. He's not going to get the best run out the exit of the corner, and now Zwadema to the line. 10th improvement, not too much. Mashiro's invalid. Seb, though, 300th up, and he's got his teammate AJ ahead of him out on track. I think these are both on laps as well, as J. Cole has retired in dramatic fashion, parking the car pretty much across the apex. Seb is only 1800th up, and now AJ pulls off to the side as he's invalidated, so it's only Seb to watch, really, out on track. As I think we're going to see improvements further up the field. We see Matt Tibos, I think, going into 9th there. Good lap from him. Adamako and Trippy Jeff around the final couple of corners. Adamako goes 13th. Trippy Jeff is just in front of Seb, who we're continuing to ride on board with on this lap. He needs a fine improvement. Coming through out the final corner, Seb, can he leave it late? No, 41 flat. He does improve in the end, but Gary is your pole sitter. Seb could not do enough, and Gary's on pole.
Yep, and crucial for Seb, he's managed to get himself ahead of Mashiro there.
He has, look at that. 2/10 of a second, separating the top 3 out on track for Spa qualifying in Division 2, really close as well. Gary out on top from Seb in 2nd, with Mashiro in 3rd, Badema 4th, J. Cole 5th, Tionis in 6th, F1AMG in 7th, AJ in 8th, Matt Tibos in 9th, Cam in 10th, Bulkongan in 11th, Ryan in 12th. They didn't really improve their lap times from the first laps. All 3 of them. Adamako in 13th, Sway 14th, Trippy Jeff in 15th. Alonso continues bad run of form in qualifying, starting well down the field in 16th, didn't qualify, and Cowboy didn't set a lap time. He retired in the pit lane, and he's starting right from the back of the grid.
Yep, and unfortunately for Alonso, it seems like he just could not keep the car within the limits of the track on any of his runs, and it's kind of been a running thing for Alonso this season. His qualifying is far cry from last season.
It is a far cry from last season, and hopefully we might begin to see the better realms of Alonso in qualifying, certainly from next week as we go towards Singapore. But we are here tonight, of course, Division 2 action. Division 3 is also live. If you want to give Aidan Carter and Conti a buzz there in the YouTube comment section for Division 3, you can, because that stream is also live. If you want to stay here for Division 2, or if you want to get both streams up at the same time, you're more than welcome to here on League Racing TV. We're all in lockdown, but goodness me, well, we're not in lockdown. We're now in whatever tiers you're in. I can't describe how many tiers everyone is probably in on this grid, but still, we're in tier 3 up here in the north, and it is terrible. But we are bringing you normality, bringing you the action here from Belgium, from Spa, and we're about to get going for the formation lap out on track. And the interesting thing will be, what tyres will everyone go on further down the field, because it is a bit overcast.
That it is, and I was looking at that weather, and Spa is usually one of those tracks that can throw some changeable conditions out in the air, so it would be interesting to see if we do get that. Looking at the tyre selection, everyone outside the top 10 opting for the medium compound tyres, so maybe that's a little bit telling of what kind of conditions we have. One stop being relatively simple, as we got Adam, Marco, Sway and Ryan get themselves disqualified on the formation lap, as does Alonso and Cowboy.
Not sure what they're playing at, to be honest, getting disqualified on the formation lap. We normally see everyone drive round on the formation lap, so 5 drivers already out of this formation lap means that they're going to be starting on the same tyres pretty much as they would if they were going round out on track. There's no minus 200 degree glitch from doing that. But everyone, as you say, on down in the bottom half of the field, Volokongan all the way down to Cowboy, all on a set of medium compounded tyres. Just how far out on track can these guys take those mediums? I'm under the impression it's certainly going to be a dry race because they've chosen that strategy.
Yeah, I believe the mediums, they will be put in around anywhere from lap 14 to 16, I believe. Thereabouts.
Yeah. Yeah, I think from lap 13, 14, maybe 8, 9 laps on a set of soft compound tyre is reachable and it is doable. And hopefully these guys will begin to master, of course, out on track. Gary coming through Stavelot then on this formation lap. And everyone, of course, starting on that set of soft compound tyres. We saw a graphic come up with the soft compound tyre runners. When do you expect these guys to come into the pit lane? Because I'm thinking about lap 6, lap 7 from about then.
Yeah, I was going to say at lap 7. I would expect people to be, well, all the soft runners to be in around lap 7. But as we know, like, everything could change in the drop of an instant. An early safety car, rain. I mean, it's starting to dry up a little bit. The sun is coming through those clouds as we go into the bus stop, and yeah, it looks like it could be a dry race after all.
Who's your top 3, Mike?
I think Gary will be top 3 on track, but his penalties will knock him off top 3. So I'm going to go with Mashiro for the win, Seb second, and I'm going to go J. Cole for third.
And how was that for a picture? Gary literally parking outside Gary's pit box in adjacent to the pit wall. That is a lovely shot out on track, and hopefully we're going to see as the crowd conditions just randomly change from absolutely nowhere. Hopefully we are going to get this race on a start. The 5 red lights now going out in Belgium for round 7 of the championship. And it's lights out and away we go. Gary gets a very good start from the line. So does Seb. And Swadema has already got Mashiro off the line. And Swadema could have them both down in towards turn 1. There's a Ferrari diving down the inside of Cam, I think, making contact possibly with his teammate. But further down the field, we'll come back to that in a second. But Gary leads from Seb in second. Mashiro in third. It's running side by side in the background though. AJ Matt Tibos going for 9th and 10th position. They run side by side down the hill. Mashiro gets a good run as well out on the back of Seb. And this is now on board with Mashiro, the Japanese man, right on the back. The Dutch of the Brits just in front of Mashiro, trying to go all the way around the outside, coming through Lecombe. Seb on the inside line. They're going to make contact surely as they come through here, but Seb manages to hold on just about for second position. It's letting Gary get away by 9/10 of a second. It's exactly the starter that he would have needed without those 15-second penalties to be added on to the time at the end of the race. But Gary leads halfway through the lap with Seb in second, Mashiro third, but Dema fourth, Jonas in fifth, Cam in 6th, J. Cole 7th, F1 AMG in 8th, with AJ in 9th, Matt Tibos in 10th, Trippy Jeff trying to get onto the back of Matt Tibos as they come through Pouon for the first time, but Congan as well with Trippy Jeff right on the back of Matt Tibos, could get the run through the Campos section. He's not going to go around the outside of the Campos section, is he? On a set of mediums, the Haas man tries to go around the outside, Matt Tibos forces him wide as they now come through the Campos section, and they remain as they are, but Trippy Jeff really trying to get past Matt Tibos early on.
Yeah, Trippy Jeff looking to get that move done, and that was a very bold attempt around the outside there from Trippy Jeff on Matt Tibos. And looking at the position gains, Cam up 4 places, Trippy Jeff up 4 places, J. Cole the big loser down 2 places.
Yeah, down 2 places, but it's good to see drivers making gains, drivers staying as they are. In fact, top 4 remain as they are, as Gary leads by 9/10 of a second coming across the line from Seb in second, Mashiro in third. We're going to cut further down the field though as AJ tries to get around the outside F1 AMG. This is for 9th and 10th, I think, out on track. As F1 AMG gets the better run, but AJ now running down the straight, trying to get the run up towards the Rouge and Radion. He's right on the back. Mercedes against Ferrari, like old school Formula 1 here at Belgium. So now come through a Rouge and Radion, taking that very nice and quickly indeed. Sway has invalidated Mashiro on the back of Seb. Yep, Mashiro on the back of Seb goes sailing on by, coming through Lecombe, and AJ and F1 AMG goes sailing on by as well, and AJ's through, and he's now up into 8th position out on track, with Sway just glitching the timing screen slightly.
Yeah, difficult to keep an eye on the positions at the moment with the glitches I'm getting. Apparently J. Cole there is 1 minute and 47 seconds behind the car in front.
He definitely isn't on my end, so that's a bit of a glitch there. He's 4/10 behind Cam, and he's 5/10 ahead of AJ for 7th position. Right on board with Sway, who's on the back of Ryan. He's well off the pace, actually, in terms of the timing screens, as you can see on the left-hand side. Sway just glitching the timing slightly. But Gary managing to control the race out in front, staying that gap at about 9/10 of a second. He's doing everything right so far.
Yeah, Gary doing a fantastic job out in front, but this is where we're going to start to see things change. As we go on to lap 3, DRS will be enabled and Mashiro will be able to close in down the Camel Straight, and along with Mashiro you'll be bringing Scuderia Seb, Dradema, Dijones and Cam and everyone along, so that gap will begin to close.
Yeah, Trippy Jeff still trying to get through on Matt Tibos. Mashiro sets the new fastest lap of the race, a 1:45.4 out on track from the Japanese man, our current championship leader, of course, coming into tonight. Right above with Trippy Jeff, he's not close enough to the back of Matt Tibos. Everyone staying as they are, but let the overtake fest begin, he says. And Cam tries to close in on the back of Tionis for 5th position, out on track. So Dem is trying to close in on Seb as well, coming up the hill through a Rouge and Radion, looking further down the field. Everyone's through there safely. Now they're running the DRS train. Mashiro closing in on Gary. Don't think anybody really is going to be close enough. We're going to see the 2 racing points, I think, go side by side. Matt Tibos is through on F1 AMG, further up the field as well. He is up just in the foreground, a shot into 9th position. And Adam Acko is through on Alonso, and he's up into 15th position.
Yep, Matt Tibos getting himself up into 9th, and just looking at J. Cole there going very deep into... I'm not going to try and pronounce the 180 degree corner. Bruxelles. Yeah, Bruxelles is going to be a tricky one for me to pronounce correctly every single time, I can tell you that for sure. But J. Cole going very deep there, just losing a little bit of time to Cam, and AJ closing up, and you've got Matt Tibos now trying to get in that battle, closing up to the Mercedes ahead.
Whole field is in a DRS train essentially out on track, apart from Gary. Gary's the only one not in a DRS train out on track. Everyone out on track is separated by 9.5 seconds, and that is what we like to see. Division 2's had the cleanest start, I think, so far this season in any sort of race. Matt Tibos tries to close in on AJ running up into the bus stop chicane. He's not close enough for 8th position, but major gains going on, as I say, from Trippy Jeff, from Cam now up 4 positions, but it is Gary who leads the way still onto lap 4 out of 22. J. Cole closing up on Cam, not close enough down in towards the source, and in fact nobody again close enough down in towards the source. Surely though, Mashiro is going to try and have a go at Gary. 7 tenths of the gap, it's a little bit less than the last time around, and flying up there through a Rouge and Radion, Mashiro was quick. He's got 6.5 tenths to gain, but I think he's just going to conserve this ERS as he now begins to close in. The McLaren on the Renault, Seb beginning to try and close in as well. J. Cole is closing in on Cam, nearly looking for the move down the inside, but I think, apart from everyone further down the field, yeah, nobody getting the move done down in towards the com, and we stay as we are.
Yeah, and crucial right now, it looks like AJ is starting to struggle a little bit. He's dropped out that DRS window of J. Cole ahead, and now we'll put him under pressure from Matt Tibos and the guys behind. And I was going to bring this up just before. How crucial is it for the guys on the medium tyres to stick in this DRS train from 1st all the way down to 70th?
It's really crucial because I think we're going to see the transfer of the tyres very soon out on track. These conditions currently are fit still for those soft runners in front in the top 10. Everyone on the side of mediums haven't made up positions, or they have made up positions from the back of the field. These guys have just got to keep on sticking in there and trying to get as much run on the car ahead as possible. It's so difficult being in the DRS train because you're always going to favour that person who's second in the DRS train. That is Mashiro currently out on track, and he will have a go at Gary, I'm sure of it, this lap around as he closes it into the gap of 4 tenths of a second now as he comes down in towards the source. Everyone opening up the DRS further down the field. J. Cole tries to look for the move on Cam. Not close enough though. And Cam still remains in P6. J. Cole into P7. But that was the first attempt that we've seen certainly from J. Cole trying to have a go at Cam. But Mashiro now right on the back of Gary. Less than 5 tenths of a second. And surely Mashiro, if he opens up that overtake mode, is going to have a go. Running down towards Lecom. But he's just not using up that overtake mode, is he? And he's going to stay right in behind. Trippy Jeff trying to close on an F1 AMG further down the field as well. Here comes the Haasman down the inside of Ferrari. Half commits the move. F1 AMG stays as we are. Come on, guys, we want to see overtakes.
Yeah, and Matt Tibos dropping out a DRS range of AJ there, so he didn't have DRS to defend. That would have been a perfect opportunity for F1 AMG to use his overtake, which is currently sitting on 90% right now. It would have been perfect for him to try and get the move on the McLaren, but very conservative on ERS at the moment, is everyone.
Yeah, 30% of ERS in terms of F1 AMG to Matt Tibos just in front of him out on track. So that is going to be really crucial, I think, as we go later on into this race here at Belgium. Of course, we've only got the one race for you tonight. Division 3 also happening alongside us, of course. Aidan Carter-Conti taking you through that one. And if you're enjoying this, then you can go and enjoy Division 3 as well. F1 AMG now closing up on the back of Matt Tibos, but again, it just seems like Matt Tibos just uses up a little bit of overtake mode and he just begins to pull away slightly on the run through Bronchimon. And I think F1 AMG is not going to have a go out on track. I think these guys are really conserving themselves for a possible run on Tresetta medium compounded tyres. That's the impression I get, certainly, from these soft runners.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of the guys on the softs just saving their ERS, knowing that it's going to be difficult to make a move in at this stage. Maybe going for a undercut and using some of that overtake to get a pretty decent undercut on the cars ahead is the play for a lot of these guys here, as Matt Tibos getting a little bit shaky there through the top of Radion, and that's going to compromise him. But F1 AMG closing in, but not using his overtake. I reckon if he used a bit of his overtake, he could have had a go.
I think Matt Tibos actually, he did have DRS. I'm not sure if he either didn't deploy it or if he's got a DRS problem out on track, because that gap was closing all the way up in towards Lacombe. It was about 2.5 tenths when they reached there, and now Matt Tibos, still within range of AJ, has got to try and close up that gap just that little bit more. F1 AMG picks up the first 3-second time penalty of the night. That was running through X corner, running wide, coming through turn number 10 out on track, and that is him now down 3 seconds essentially out on track compared to everyone else around him. As nobody, really shocked actually, nobody's picked up more penalties.
I mean, it's the standards of D2 right now. They're showing why they are in D2. Not only are they quick, but they are good on track limits as well.
AJ trying to close up to the back of J. Cole for 7th and 8th position out on track. And I think we're just going to literally remain as we are. It's quite boring to watch this, to be honest. I want to see a lot of overtakes. I want to see a little bit of action. Somebody coming into the pit lane. And AJ actually is the one that does come into the pit lane in the end. And he is into the pit lane. And he's the only one on a set of soft compounded tyres that decides to cut in. But I think if he undercuts onto a set of mediums trying to go to the end of the race, he has got a real bad chance of coming out in traffic.
Yeah, and now Matt Tibos well and truly out of DRS of J. Cole, and we got F1 AMG right underneath his rear wing, so this could be the overtake that we've been waiting for a while. And easy jump, but can Trippy Jeff get close enough?
He is closing on, he's closing in towards Lecom, a little bit of contact slightly, but they say as they are. Matt Tibos now down to 9th, F1 AMG getting that move done up to 8th. Trippy Jeff now in 10th position. If these guys begin to fight quite aggressively out on track, if Trippy Jeff tries to go for lunges, tries to go for moves, unsettles Matt Tibos, Volakongan and Ryan are not too far away. They're really in the only bit of clear air, apart from F1 AMG, that's there out on track.
And of course, AJ running at the back right now on that fresh set of mediums, and this is going to be telling for the undercut that AJ can get here, because he was running in, I believe, 8th before his pit stop, as we got Sway picking up the 2nd penalty of the evening. So this will be interesting to see if he can get the jump on the likes of J. Cole, Cam and Tijones, maybe even Swadema.
Well, there's the gap to the leader that I'm looking at as Mashiro tries to close in on Gary down towards bus stop. Trippy Jeff is going to be right on the back of Matt Tibos as well, coming into the bus stop, as AJ is 23 seconds behind. Gary from the lead of the race is into the pit lane. In fact, most of the guys are. Matt Tibos also comes in on a set of soft compounded tyres, but everyone pretty much into the pit lane. That is Cam coming into the pit lane to be right on board, but the man to watch on board with now, if he's got the undercut strategy on these guys, is AJ. And AJ comes round the final couple of corners. Everyone will go, I think, on just a medium compounded tyres, so they'll avoid the hards at all costs. And AJ is coming out the final corner. Now across the start-finish line, he's going to be in the mix with some of these. He's going to be quite, I think he's going to be behind Tionis maybe, coming out the pit lane, if I'm not mistaken. And he's behind Spadema, and he's behind Cam, in fact. So he's just further down the field. And as I said, he's came out in a mountain of traffic.
Yeah, interestingly enough, we just seen Zradema, who was ahead of Tijonas and Cam in the pit stop phases, lose out on 2 positions there through the pit stop phase.
Did he get held up by Tijonas, I'm thinking?
I think he must have. Tijonas and perhaps Gary and Seb as they go past his pit box. So I'm guessing he's lost out. He's lost 3 positions there just in that pit stop phase.
Which is so unfortunate, I think. Obviously down in 16th currently. Don't take that. Those are the final finishing positions out on track. Because trust me, this race is going to get going very soon indeed. We should see quite a lot of overtakes. And I have a sense of deja vu of commentating around here. Could we get a race of the season candidate? Maybe I'm wishful thinking with this. But Sway now closes up to the back of Ryan, trying to get the move done towards Blanchimont. He's 2 tenths behind as he reaches towards Blanchimont. He'll try and get the run out of the corner, but I think he's just going to sit and wait for this DRS zone to come. Mashiro is in from the lead of the race. We should see J. Cole, F1AMG come into the pit lane as well. Indeed they do. And they're into the pit lane on lap 8 out of 22. Now lap 9 as Mashiro crosses the line in the pit lane to start lap 9. It's Trippy Jeff, though, now inherits the lead of the race. And all of these medium runners now essentially are the leaders.
Yeah, and speaking of Mashiro, we saw how good the undercut was for AJ. Let's see how far back Mashiro drops. He's already dropped behind
he's going to be right out in front of Seb, I think. So he hasn't lost that much. He really hasn't lost that much. Volakongan is through on Trippy Jeff further down the field, but we'll focus our attentions on the main battle. Mashiro right on the back of Gary. Now he has a chance to try and get a move done. Seb is going to try, and we'll watch it from his perspective as Mashiro cuts the outside line. Gary has got enough speed, though. He's got the overspeed. Trying to get down the inside. Mashiro around the outside, though, coming into Lacombe, and that is the job done. Mashiro now through into the net lead of the race, and he passes Gary out on track. How crucial is that?
That is massive for Mashiro. I mean, we know that Gary will be having penalties applied to him at the end of this race, but it is crucial for Mashiro to have that one car that he's not necessarily got to worry about in terms of beating him here today, but he's got that one car between him and Seb.
Cowboy picks up a 3-second time penalty as well in front of these guys. You can see who hasn't pitted and who has out on track. That is really stark to see. You can see the gap. It's about 7.6 seconds from Mashiro to Cowboy. That is honestly the gap between one half of the race and the other. The first half of the race currently is Sway closes in on Sway closing in on Ryan. He's not close enough again. Down in towards taps the back end coming through the bus stop chicane. And Trippy Jeff is close enough to the back of Volakongan as well to have a go down in towards La Source at turn 1, but he's not going to be La Source down in towards turn 1, as that is a terrible pun, and I should stop commentating right now. Alonso's run wide.
I wasn't going to say anything, but Cowboy and Alonso side by side now.
Oh no.
And run towards Eau Rouge.
Somebody's going to have to back out, and it's Cowboy who backs out. I think Cowboy was trying to go for the move. He might have tried a late lunge down the inside, possibly on Alonso, or Alonso ran wide, one of the two. And now Cowboy right on the back of Alonso. Adamako just in front of these guys trying to close in on Sway, but look at the speed. They're just ebbing away, and Cowboy cannot find a way through. And Alonso, somebody that could find a way through, those Chionis right on the back of Seb, as Seb tries to close in on Gary, and Mashiro's already pulled out a second gap over Gary. That is what a little bit of clear air out on track does to you at Spa.
Yep, Mashiro also using quite a lot of his ERS on his outlap to build that gap, as he's now down to just under 45%, as he just dips over it now actually. But Mashiro using his ERS to break DRS to Gary, and that's going to put Gary under pressure from Seb and Tijonas now.
Mashiro's been very wise, I think, using up his ERS, because I've just run on board with Gary, and Gary's running about 15% less ERS than Mashiro in front of him. So Mashiro is the one that's actually been more conservative. Gary is the one that's trying to be more attacking, but he's losing ground. And that's because of the clear air. It's as simple as that. He's just losing ground because of the clear air, because Mashiro came out pretty much the same time as him. He undercut him out on track, and that's the freshness of the tyres right there. Mashiro now leading the way out on track. Theoretically, these guys, of course, in the top 7 still yet to come into the pit lane. We're already halfway through. This race, without any safety cars, is absolutely flying on by.
It is doing that as Mashiro sets a new fastest lap, a 44.6. That is rapid. and he is rapidly closing up to the back of Cowboy. The gap was over 7 seconds, just over a lap and a half ago.
Here comes Ryan on the back of Trippy Jeff running down the straight. Sorry to cut in you there, Mike. Trippy Jeff as well, trying to close in on Volakongan. Not close enough. Further down, Cowboy trying to close in on Alonso. Not close enough. Seb is close enough though on Gary. Can he get the move done for a net P2? Out on track. You bet he can. Dives into the braking zone off the Kemmel straight down through Lecom, and Seb is through and he's up into 9th position, but that's a net P2, and that's more important because Gary has just picked up a 3-second time penalty out on track.
Yeah, that's not looking good for Gary at the moment. He's lost out to both Seb and Mashiro, and right now his ERS is similar to that of Tijonis and Cam behind. J. Cole sitting on about 20, so these guys behind have roughly the same amount of ERS as Gary, but look at the amount of ERS that Seb has.
Seb's got 73% of ERS, and he's conserving that really nicely out on track as well. Mashiro's got 40%, so he's got 30% more than the current theoretical race leader out on track. They all fly through Blanchimont. Lovely shot there, the 7 cars, the 7 leaders essentially out on track coming through as Sway tries to close up on the back of Ryan. They're not close enough, but we are going on to lap 12, more than halfway through now here at Belgium, and we could be in for an absolute treat. All of these guys on a set of mediums are in one race. All of the guys are behind from 8th downwards are in another race as Volakongan leads. Seb sets the new fastest lap of the race. I think he improved to 10th on Mashiro's lap there.
I'll just have a quick little look at that. No, it was only 200ths of a second.
Oh, so close. So close. But that is the thin margins of possibly picking up an extra point out on track. Nobody in this DRS zone is going to be close enough. I'll tell you somebody who might be close enough though further down the field. It's Matt Tibos right on the back of AJ for 15th and 16th currently, and that's the easiest overtake you'll probably see all night, to be honest. Matt Tibos halfway down the straight, gets the move done, and he's through and he's up into 15th.
Yep, and Mashiro now got that gap down from 5 seconds. It was just over a lap ago to 3.7, so he is rapidly closing up to the back of this train up ahead of the medium runners yet to make their pit stop as Cowboy picks up, I believe that's his second 3-second time penalty. It is.
Yeah, there's the penalties run down as well. Sway, Alonso, Gary all have got 3-second time penalties. Cowboy F1AMG has got 6 seconds worth of time penalties out on track, so it's going to be fascinating to see how this gap goes down. Mashiro is just there, closing on the gap because of his tyres. It's as simple as that. It's like 2.7, 2.6 seconds now. Mashiro is absolutely flying now out on track. And they can see him. Yeah, he's coming right on the back of them, aren't they? And Adam Acko quite close to the back of Sway. Not quite close enough. Volakongan into the pit lane. That's a really early pit stop to go into a set of soft compound of tyres.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see Volakongan's pace towards the end of this race, because I fear that he'll drop off massively at the end.
He's going to do 10 laps essentially on that set of soft compound of tyres. 10 laps around this track is probably going to be, what, 5% wear per lap? They're going to be shot right at the end. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a puncture right at the end. Here comes Ryan on the back of Trippy Jeff. This is for the lead of the race. The first move that we're going to see for the lead of the race all night. And it is the guys that are fighting in a separate battle completely out on track. But Ryan is through and he's into the lead of the race. And he leads for the first time out on track. Tionis trying to close in on Gary down in towards the com. Not quite close enough. Flicking back down the field. Alonso, massive lock-up coming through Bruxelles. But Ryan leads, Trippy Jeff second, Sway in third. The penalties though beginning to wrap up as Alonso had a little bit of a sideways moment coming out of X and recovered the car very nicely indeed.
Yep, Alonso really pushing now to try and get this move done on his teammate up ahead. And for these guys on the mediums, maybe the undercut might not be such a bad call for him to maybe jump a few positions, especially for someone like Alonso and Cowboy at the back of this train.
Yeah, Alonso getting very close out wide there, coming through. Stavilo, goodness me, Zanamako just picks up a little bit of grass. Cowboy trying to close in as well on the back. These guys, though, if they stay out longer out on track, they're going to cause trouble For Mashiro, Seb, Gary and the likes who are just beginning to catch on to the back of this DRS train, Adamako is in, Callboy is in, everyone else stays out, and Mashiro is there. Mashiro is only a second and a half off the back of Alonso. This lap around, Mashiro is going to be in on this DRS train, and it's going to be so much difficult for him to try and get any overtakes done. It's really going to favour Seb, I think.
Yeah, and I think that's what Seb is hoping for. Maybe just these guys stay out just that extra lap, just to really slow down the progress of Mashiro, allow Seb to close back up.
Trippy Jeff on the back of Ryan. They're going to do the yo-yo effect from last lap around. He really closes up on the gap there. Trippy Jeff gets the move done. He's up into the lead of the rest. Chionis as well on the back of Gary. Ran the outside in towards Lecom. Can he get the move done? No, Gary is still there. Gary fights back. Brilliant move there by Gary to fight back the position. Chionis, though, is trying to go side by side with him through Lecom, but it is not quite close enough, and Gary holds on to the position. Really good defensive driving, and he picked really the right area of the track where he was going to pick up the traction.
Yep, Gary doing a fantastic job there to hold on to P7 for the time being. But what that little side-by-side battle has done is brought J. Cole right onto the back of him, as well as Cam.
Yeah, they're only 3-4 tenths away, just in behind, but the difficulty is they're running in this DRS train out on track. Trippy Jeff has picked up a 3-second time penalty. I think that's his first of the night, if I'm not mistaken.
Big snap from Sway. Big snap from Sway. He's able to hold it, though.
Alonso's going to try and struggle to get past here, though. And Alonso running right on the back. There's Mashiro catching up to these two. Mashiro's just going to hang back. Here comes Alonso trying to go around the outside of the bus stop. He's not going to have a go. I think he's going to commit himself into the pit lane. Mashiro nearly into the back, and the front four are in, and it finally lets Mashiro go. Thank goodness anybody didn't stay out an extra lap, because that would have been whole of trouble, I think, for Mashiro out on track to try and get the move done. But the gap has closed down slightly. Seb 1.1 seconds. Mashiro still leading the way by that margin out on track. The real fight, really, Gary, Tionis, J. Cole, Cam for third now.
Yep, and this is going to be a very interesting battle, because obviously we know Gary's situation with penalties, which is going to take him off it. But does Gary, is he actually about to be overtaken by Tionis here with DRS wide open, gets the move done before the braking zone there, so the Williams now up into third. I was going to say, does Gary make it a little bit easier for his XL teammate behind as he picks up another 3-second time penalty there?
To be honest, if I was in Gary's shoes now, I'd be wanting to let J. Cole through. I know they're both not working together in terms of Esports Masters League. Out on track, and Callboy is retired out on track. I think he was going side by side with Sway at the time. Unfortunately, too much action happening further down the field for us to get to that one, but it looks like he's lost it coming through Lecom and gone into the wall, left-hand side through turn 7.
Yeah, it looks like that.
I think that's off track as well, so I don't think we're going to see a safety car. The car's being recovered. No safety car, no VSC. Out on track, so Callboy unfortunately out of the race. I think, as I say, he might have been going side by side with Sway, his teammate. It'll be more applicable, I think, to have a look at the POV shots rather than what we've just seen, which was absolutely nothing in terms of the stream.
Back at J. Cole.
Can he get the move done down and towards bus stop? He's going to try the move. J. Cole's going to cut the door. Cam tries to force that door back open, but J. Cole through. And he's trying to go now through the keyhole down and towards turn 1. Again, I'm terrible with these puns. Cam now tries to go down the inside and towards the source. The gap is there, but he doesn't commit the move, and J. Cole remains in 5th.
Yeah, but what that has done is actually exhausted pretty much all of Cam's ERS trying to go for that move. And now it's also given Gary and Tijonas a little bit of breathing space up ahead.
Oh, Cam really needs to save up that ERS. He's on nothing. Running down the Kemmel Straight, and that is not what the position that you want to be in. Running down the Kemmel Straight. Luckily, he's got to a second and a half behind him out on track. That's the only saving grace for him. If that was 0.5 of a second, Cam would have been an absolute sitting duck running down the straight. AJ picks up another, his first 3-second time penalty, I should say, of the night. Further down the field, those guys that are on a set of soft compound of tyres, Bolakongan has latched onto the back of F1 AMG for 10th.
Yep, and Volakongan right now clean on penalties as well. He does have a 3.6 second gap to push into once he gets past F1 AMG. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a new fastest lap coming from Volakongan on this next lap after he makes the move.
Yeah, and he's only got 4 lap all tyres. Don't adjust your screens. He's on 4 lap all tyres because he pitted a lap, 2 laps younger, I think, than Trippy Jeff out on track. So that graphic that's shown to the left-hand side there is wrong. I think he's on 3 lap tyres. This should be his 3rd lap on these set of tyres, going on to his 4th. And having that out lap, of course, it'll be his 5th lap, essentially, on that set of soft compounder tyres. I might be wrong in thinking that he came into the pits, I think on lap 13, lap 14, might be even at the end of lap 12, but Volokongan onto the back of F1 AMG. Gary is on the back of Tionis coming out of turn 1. Doesn't get the greatest exit, to be honest. Trippy Jeff sets the new fastest lap of the race, 1:44.5. That's better, though, by Alonso, 44.1. 4/10th improvement pretty much on the fastest lap right there. Gary now on the back of Tionis has got the overtake mode up to use up. Has he got enough of the Kemmel straight to try and close in? You bet he can. He comes there down on the inside on, absolutely sails on by Tionis down into the braking zone. Brilliant move there by Gary. That is pinpoint accurate, and he's through and he's up into P3. Matt Tibos, Volokongan side by side with F1 AMG. He tries to go around the outside, coming through Lecombe. And F1 AMG now has to hang on and sit tight, and he holds on for P10 currently out on track. But Gary gets that move done. 15 seconds worth of penalties, of course, coming his way, but he's back into 3rd. He's beginning to push now and try and gain that gap away from Tionis.
Yep, and if Gary can get that gap somehow over a second, that's going to put serious pressure on DeJonas, because J. Cole only 2.5 times behind. We've got a yellow flag, and that is AJ. AJ is around on the exit of Fouillon.
I think he's got caught on the curb on the inside, and that is him now round, pretty much out of contention. Alonso was spun. Alonso was spun, pretty much in the same area. That Racing Point spinning. I think he was trying to let him through, and he didn't realise he'd spun behind him. AJ's retired out on track. That's not the best way to go. Go for fastest lap attempt, pick up the points for 15th. Alonso is in the same boat, and Alonso now is going to get that 15th position out on track. It's a little bit foolish to try and retire out on track. Here comes Volokongan, though, right on the back of F1 AMG. He's not going to go for the move down into the bus stop chicane, but surely Volokongan is going to be trying to get that move done now on F1 AMG. But just looks like the tyres might be beginning to switch to those mediums, I think.
Yeah, I think in the next lap or so is when we start to see the mediums become slightly better. But we got J. Cole on the back of Tijon this year.
Yeah, J. Cole is right on the back. He's going to literally bump draft him down the straight. He's not going to care. Could be 3 wide if they're closing enough. Gary holds on. Tionis holds on. And in the end, nobody gains a position. Typical. Volokongan now on the back of F1 AMG. He's going to try and have a go. Ryan just in behind is going to try and get the move done. He's down the straight. He gets the move done. Sways on the back. But here comes Volokongan on the outside line. Can he get the move done? F1 AMG's on the inside line. No, Volokongan cannot find a way through on that Ferrari. He's defending for his life. I think Adamako got overtaken by Ryan down the straight. Sway didn't manage to get through though in 14th.
Yeah, I think Ryan also did manage to overtake Adamako, but the battle between F1 AMG and Volokongan, F1 AMG absolutely defending for his life right now.
And look at the gap. Look at the gap, it's 6.4 seconds. The last time I saw that was 2 laps ago, and that was, what, 3.6, 3.7? So that gap has pretty much doubled, nearly, in just as many laps. It's absolutely unbelievable. Cam right on the back of J. Cole. J. Cole right on the back of Tionis. Now as they come towards the bus stop chicane, Mashiva will lead on to lap 19. AJ leaves the session. Cam trying to go around the outside. He's going to be cut short by J. Cole, trying to force the issue down the inside. J. Cole really trying to hang on there for 5th. He just about hangs on. Cam entitled to go for the moves, but I've just got to be honest, he looks a little bit aggressive going for these moves. He just needs to try and calm it down just that little bit. Calm it down, out on track, and he'll try and get the move done cleanly.
Yeah, I think Cam being stuck in that DRS train for this entire race pretty much. He really just wants to try and make up some positions.
Frustration is kicking in. That's all I could describe it as. Frustration is really beginning to set in Cam. He's lost that time to J. Cole out on track, and that means, as we look on with Trippy Jeff trying to close in with Volokongan on the back of F1 AMG, they still cannot find their way through these two Haas guys, and F1 AMG is trying to hang on for grim life. Trippy Jeff goes into the back of his teammate, runs wide, just about recovers the car, and that brings Ryan now onto the back. Sway onto the back and Adamako onto the back. Alonso still going around out on track, by the way, after his moment through Puon, and he's going for fastest lap attempt and going for that P15, which is what we like to see.
Yeah, I just had a little look at the top end just to see the situation with Seb and Mashiro, and Seb has used almost all of his ERS now. He's down to similar levels as Mashiro.
Yeah, 13% of ERS, Seb on 16%, so what's that? 5% difference? 6% difference around then? So it's not really that much, to be honest, in terms of the gaps, but Mashiro leading the way, still out on track, 1.3 seconds. It's a good job we haven't commentated on these guys for a while. These guys have just been going at it, not really that much. And it's simple as that. They're keeping it nice and consistent. They're going to be our top two, I think, out on track. Barring anything, was that Volakongan trying to go around the outside of the bus stop chicane. Very close. He's going to let Trippy Jeff in around the outside. Closes off his teammate. And now Ryan Sway. It is hunting season now for the two Hatters. They do not want to make contact. They've got a new lineup in real life coming. They do not want a real life change up here in the sim world either.
Volakongan, it was a very late switch to go to the outside there, so I was just on board with, and that's cost him a lot of time there from AMG. Compromised Trippy Jeff as well, and it's allowed Ryan to maybe have a little peek as well into...
No, here comes Sway. Sway's one on the back of Ryan. Right on the back of Ryan. Shuts the door. Goodness me, that one might get investigated. I think just Ryan shut the door completely on Sway. To be honest, there wasn't Rajan forever to try and go around the outside. It was always going to be the natural racing line. Alonso gets the fastest lap of the race, 43.4. That's going to take a lot of beating, I think, for anybody that wants to try and attempt the fastest lap run. But out on track, Sway just getting closed up by Ryan. Racing incident, maybe?
I got onto it very late. It didn't look like Sway had a huge amount of room left to him on the outside. Really forced all the way to the line, I'd say, but I don't know. It's one of those things the stewards will have to potentially have a look at.
Yeah, I think given the nature of the contact, as well going into the corner, Sway couldn't really get the car stopped. He didn't go over the curb. He rejoined the track just in behind and let Adamako through. And Adamako now is trying to close up on Ryan. So this has really now grasped the attentions further down the field, but further up the field, Mashiro leads onto the penultimate lap of the race. Alonso picks up a 3-second time penalty. He wouldn't care about that. He's just going for 15th and for the fastest lap. Seb there in second. There's Gary in third. Tionis in fourth. Gary hasn't really nailed P3 on at this moment in time. Tionis, J. Cole and the guys, 1 3-second time penalty can really change this as Trippy Jeff tries to go down the inside of Volakongan coming through La Source.
Yep, and speaking of Tijonas, he has used all of his ERS because he dropped out of DRS range of Gary, and that's going to hurt him now because J. Cole is going to close up somewhat with just using a slight little bit of ERS. Cam has dropped back from the back.
Oh, Trippy Jeff! Trippy Jeff very late on the brakes on his teammate, trying to go around the outside of Lecombe. Trying to get the move done. Adamako and Ryan, I think, might have made slight contact. And Adamako was there round. Trippy Jeff is through and he's up into P10. Drama. What happened with Adamako?
I was just going down through the back markers. I saw Adamako switch positions and he was sideways through Lecombe.
Him and Ryan were fighting into that corner, so I wonder if there's been a bit of contact possibly, as Ryan just picked up a 3-second time penalty. I wonder if there's a little bit of contact as Gary picks up another 3-second time penalty as well out on track. I wonder if there was contact between Ryan and Adamako. Of course, this will all come out in the in after the race. The stewards, of course, will have a look at any incidents that we haven't caught, certainly on the stream. Zwadema's trying to latch onto the back of Cam. Zwadema really wants this out on track. He's going to try and lunge it down the inside on Cam, but he's not close enough. Final lap of the race. This race is absolutely flown by here in Belgium, and it's Mashiro who leads, Seb in second. The fight, though, is on for third. A 5-6 car battle as Matt Tibos now latches onto the back for third position. Let the final lap commence.
Yep, only 2 more opportunities for J. Cole to maybe get past Tijonas, and for Tijonas to get past Gary. Tijonas, so he is very low on ERS, so I think that might hinder him come towards the end of this lap. But Gary is also very close to very low on ERS as well.
Yeah, nobody going for the move. Look at Jekyll right on the back of Tionis. Really wants his P3 now out on track. And the Brit has got a push on the Norwegian. The Norwegian looking for another podium out on track. Of course, he finished second in Britain. And now Jekyll's got a chance coming through Brussels. But the door just shut. And Tionis leading through fourth position. Currently in a net third because of Gary's penalties out on track. Gary, of course, will fall further down the field as what the caption will show right at the end of this race. Mashiro, though, coming through the Campos section for the final time, leads the way. Seb there in second. Mashiro's putting out that gap to 2.3 seconds. Lap pressure tyres really coming into play. Gary, though, is trying to fend off the pursuers. Tionis, Jekyll, Cams, Wedema, Tibos, they're all lining up to try and have a go. And it's Tionis who's going to have a go, trying to go around the outside and towards Blanchimon if he's got the run. I don't think he's got enough ERS. Third 3-second time penalty for Sway. Right on board with that if you can, Mike, as Mashiro now comes around the final couple of corners, out on track. He is going to win here, out on track at Belgium. Mashiro across the line, he takes the win out on track. You see everyone filtering through in the background. Seb across the line in second. Who is going to pick up third? It's going to be Tionis, I think, for third. Tionis gets third, Jekyll fourth. The penalties really coming into play there. Gary down 8th position in the end. F1MG, Trippy Jeff, all coming across the line. Volokongan expects him to go up in the positions. There's a yellow flag in sector 3. I think that was Sway maybe spinning around the final corner. Adamako across the line to finish in 13th, and now we wait on Alonso to come across the line in the only guaranteed position in 15th. But Mashiro takes the win, Seb in second, Tionis in third. I think it's now your time to bring them all in.
Yep, and I want to say I'm always one off my prediction tonight. I said Mashiro, Seb and Jekyll. I'm always one off.
Jekyll third, and only 0.2 of a second separating Tionis and Jekyll in the end. That's absolutely insane. I think if Jekyll had another lap, he would have got Tionis. I've got to argue that. As Alonso now comes around the final couple of corners, he's already got the fastest lap. He will wrap up P15 as well, out on track, with AJ retiring out on track. That is the end of the Belgian Grand Prix in Division 2. And if you enjoyed that, I think Division 3 might be still ongoing. We've got more action coming for you tomorrow night. Driver of the day as voted for the fans is Cam. Cam gets driver of the day as voted for by the in-game fans. But we now see the podium celebrations pop up very shortly indeed. And it's going to be one very happy Japanese man. The championship leader wins in Belgium. Mashiro takes it. Seb in second and Tionis finishing in P3. Just how important is that win, Mike, for Mashiro in the Drivers' Championship battle?
That is crucial for Mashiro. A fantastic win. Extends his lead and absolutely fully deserved. And who would you go for your personal driver of the day?
Ooh, I'll come on to that after we run through the grid order, the finishing grid order. 39 minutes dead on. We have finished here tonight at Spa. Mashiro has taken the win from Seb in second. Tionis in third with Jekyll in fourth. Cam from 10th up to 5th. Good run from him in 5th. Picking up no penalties either, so good job. Matibos in 6th, with Zvedema in 7th. Gary in 8th, Volokongan in 9th, Trippy Jeff in 10th. Gary, of course, with 15 seconds added on, he'll fall right down the field. Volokongan, Trippy Jeff will jump above him. So will Ryan, F1AMG, finishing in 12th. Adamako 13th, Sway in 14th. If I'm looking at the timings, 15 seconds to be added on, Gary would finish 14th. Everyone ahead, everyone behind him, barring any more penalties, would jump up. Volokongan, Trippy Jeff, Ryan, F1MG, Adamako, Sway, Alonso, AJ and Callboy. Alonso finishing in P15, AJ and Callboy sadly DNFing out of the race, but I'm sure we'll get them both in. And my personal driver of the day, I've got to give it to Mashiro. I've got to give it. It was just a dominant drive from him. He got the undercut coming out of the pit lane, and that was crucial to his race win. So I'm going to give driver of the day to Mashiro. What about you, Mike?
I have to agree with you. Mashiro didn't put a foot wrong all race, and it was a fantastic drive.
And it makes up from that early contact, of course, that he got caught up in on lap 1 and lap 2 last time out in Britain. And I'm sure we're going to try and hear from at least, we might get at least second and third place in terms of Seb and Tionis. And we should hope that they're going to be joining very soon indeed. Really hope you guys have enjoyed the action. Of course, we've got more action coming up for you for Division 4 and Division 5 tomorrow night. It is Graham Chaplin, Callboy, taking you through the action for Division 4, and myself and Daniel Hoggard taking you through the action for Division 5. And then Saturday, of course, if you still want to get involved with CRC, they're still expecting commentators, IndyCar, touring cars, anything like that. Go and follow them on Twitter at Competitive Racing Club and contact them if you want to have that freebie spot that I freed up from CRC last season. And we do it all again, of course, CWC starting on Mondays. Whenever there is a day here in real life, there's normally a day where we're streaming here on League Racing TV. But we are joined. I'm just going to wait on Seb, see if he joins in. So I'll hold on a minute. We do realise we've got Tionis here in the lobby, or in the interview room, I should say, with us. And we'll wait to see if Seb joins. I'll give him a minute. But Mike, going on to next week, Singapore next week. How do you think these drivers will get on?
Singapore, definitely a different challenge for everyone out there. The walls very close to the track. Tyre wear is going to be... It's going to be something to keep an eye on as well, and a few strategies could be a bit different next week, so it's going to be exciting.
I'm glad I asked you that question because Seb has now just joined us within the commentary box. And Seb, second position for you out on track. You got underdone by that undercut from Mashiro. Talk us through your race out there.
I mean, I had a good quali. I was kind of happy with second. But yeah, Mashiro just had so much pace. In the first stint, he obviously overtook me, and my idea was just to sit behind them, save my ERS, and then get an undercut. Obviously, I think Gary had the same idea to have the undercut, but Mashiro stayed out. I don't know how he did it, but he just managed to keep life in them softs, and he managed to get ahead of me and Gary. So he did a really good job there. And then I managed to get past Gary. I think I had more pace than him, and then from then on it was just a sweat battle between me and Mashiro, and my tyres were really dead at the end. I think they were on like 78%, so I just backed it off because I was struggling to catch him, and in another league race I did around here, I got a puncture on the last lap on medium, so I just drove smooth and just brought it home in second, which is kind of disappointing because I was hoping to get the win, but yeah, I guess the points, second is still good points.
Second is still good points, and obviously Mashiro has outscored you in terms of the Drivers' Championship. Coming into tonight, you were on 102 points, Mashiro was there on 127. I think, if I'm not mistaken, you're going to be very close to taking second off Zwadema after Zwadema's really bad race.
Yeah, he came 7th. Did he? Was it 7th Zwadema came?
7th or 8th, I think he came. Yeah, so you're going to be picking up massive points.
Yeah, the main goal is just obviously looking ahead. I mean, Mashiro is quite far ahead, but I'm still, keeping that eye on trying to get first in the championship because I'm in and around the mix, I'd say. But Mashiro is, at the moment he's got a really good gap. So we'll see. But yeah, second in the championship would be good, just to keep pressure on Mashiro. So we'll see what happens. But yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see, of course, what happens. Mike, have we got any questions for Seb?
It was just about his ERS, because at one point you had almost 70% of Mashiro's. I believe it was just under 40. We was expecting you to close up.
Yeah, that's a mistake from me. I thought I was using it. I used it up all in one lap, thinking, well, not all of it, but I used a lot of it up all in one lap to try and catch him. I was expecting to get within his DRS, so then I can start saving again. I thought I could easily get in his DRS, and then he just kept the same gap. So I don't know how he did it. I tried all the tactics using the ERS in different places so he wouldn't expect me to catch in those places, so he would be caught off guard, but he just had everything covered, so fair play to him. So then I just ended up depleting it, not getting his DRS, and then with a shot front left tyre, so then had to save in the end, and my plan didn't go very well, but at least I tried.
Yeah, that's all that matters. But as long as you leave everything out there on track, there's nothing more you can do.
Yeah, he just he had it covered today. Yeah, he had a really good pace. So
Going into Singapore, my final question is, going into Singapore next week, how do you think you're going to get on around there? Are you going to try and defeat Mashiro?
Gonna have to, because there's how many races is there left now?
Four. Yeah.
And he's got quite a big gap, so I'm gonna have to just go for it. I mean, I guess he's got everything to lose, which is, I guess, a little bit nicer for me, knowing that I can gain hopefully, but I'm just gonna have to go for it. Hopefully get a win, because I'm sick of getting second place and third place, because nobody wants to come second. So yeah, but I'm just gonna have to send it and hopefully gain some points on him.
Honestly, if we had form figures or a data sheet here in TTML, you'd probably be one of the most unluckiest drivers so far this season in terms of second and third place finishes. You've pretty much scored above everyone else, I think.
Yeah, well, you make your own luck at the end of the day, so it's true. You've got to go get the win out there. So hopefully I can, with his 4 races left. But yeah, we'll see what happens. There's still time.
There is still time. 4 rounds to go. Seb, of course, will go and let you enjoy your evening. Another well-spoken interview. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
And now we move on to our man who's been sitting here for the last 10 minutes waiting for his interview. It's Tionis. And Tionis is here, I think. Hello.
Yeah, I'm here.
Third place finish for you out on track tonight in Belgium. Talk us through your race.
Well, I'm really happy about it. I think I got my quality was good about what I could do, and then I just took my opportunities when I got them in the race, and yeah, very happy with third. I think that's absolutely maximum of what I could have done today.
You must have knew that Gary had penalties in front of you, as well as a 15-second time penalty as well, added on to the end of the race. Do you feel in the latter stages of that race you had his number?
Yeah, I pretty much just used him as a shield from the guys behind, because they were all quicker than me, so I just had to drive like them, or just manage my race the best I could, and use the options that I had, and make the best of the pace I had, and I think I managed it better than I expected, to be honest.
Yeah, and a second podium finish in a row after, I think, second place last week in Britain must fill you with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, it does. I'm starting to pick up the pace a bit, and I'm really enjoying it, and it's a brilliant field here, and they're also quick, and it's probably the quickest league I race in right now, so it's really good practice for me, and I feel like I really develop while driving here.
Yeah, you're developing very well indeed. Mike, any questions?
It seemed for that entire race that you were just stuck in the DRS train for the entire race. How frustrating was it just knowing that pretty much almost every single lap just wasn't close enough to make a move on that DRS train?
Well, at one point I got ahead and tried to get myself a gap, but as soon as I realized that I didn't have the pace to do that, then I got back into the cube again and just tried to maintain the second place in the train, because it's a really good position. Then you got the DRS of the guy in front, so the car behind can't really overtake you, and when the car in front has a time penalty, then it makes everything a lot more easy for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And one more question: how much pressure was you under in that final lap from Jacob? So it looked like Jacob was really cranking up the pressure on you in the final 2 laps.
Yeah, he was. He would have deserved the third place as much as I did. He was quicker than me, and I'm sure if he'd played his car maybe a bit different, so I couldn't answer it the same, or I wouldn't have had the DRS of the car in front, he sure would have beaten me. So I'm really happy finishing where I did today, and I think that was maximum of what my pace today could give me.
And going on next week to Singapore, how do you think you're going to get on?
I'm I'm not sure. I haven't really driven around Singapore that much on this game, so hopefully I'll pick up some pace, but I would be surprised to see myself on the podium next week.
You never know, you might be here for the 3rd week in a row.
Hopefully I'll for sure try to put in some laps on the old time trial and do some practice with my Div 3 and Volkongen, of course, friends. So hopefully we'll come back strong next week as well.
I'm sure you will. Thank you so much, Tionis. We'll go and let you enjoy your evening.
Thank you.
And that is it from us here tonight, of course, at Belgium, around 7 of the championship. Just a quick point from me. I can see quite a few people kicking off in the chat. Remember that TTML is a place for respectful, being respectful to one another. So please, if you are one of those drivers that are having a bit of a kick-off and having a bit of a fuss, don't, because you're only going to land yourself in a bit of trouble. Simple as that. Not rocket science.
Yep, any issues, just take it to the stewards.
Yep, stewards are here to investigate. They're impartial as well, and I'm sure they will get to the bottom of any incidents that happen, of course, out on track tonight. And that is the end, as I say, here in Belgium. Tomorrow night we have Division 4 and Division 5 action for you. Tomorrow night it is, of course, Graham Chaplin, Callboy taking you through Division 4, myself and Dan taking you through, I should say, Division 5 out on track. You can tell I'm getting tired. We better end it here. Please stay safe in this crazy, crazy world that we all live in. Thank you so much for watching. I've been James Head, he's been Mike Edwards. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week for Round 8 in Singapore. Until then, goodbye.
No star.
No star.